Welcome to episode 9 of the MetaMagix Monster Manual, where I make 5th edition stat blocks out of your favorite monsters. We are continuing the Dead by Daylight chapter. We have already gone over a few of the killers. This time we're going to make a little bit more of a simple killer stat block, and this time it's going to be the Huntress. As always, you can find a link to the stat blocks that I make down in the description below, take you to my Discord or my Twitter where you can download them for free. So this is the Huntress, and to begin with the stat block, she's considered a large humanoid with the chaotic evil tag, same as all the other killers. She has an armor class of 13 with leather armor, a hit point total of 150 hit points, and a movement speed of 35 feet, as she is a little bit faster like all of the other killers. For the stat array, the two most notable stats here are her high strength and constitution, both at 18. She has a slight increase in her dexterity and wisdom, both at 14, and a neutral 10 for intelligence and charisma. She has a +7 bonus to athletics skill checks. She is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from all non-magical attacks, just like the other Dead by Daylight killers, but could be toned down to a resistance should your party be low on magic. She has a passive perception of 12, speaks 0 languages, and is a challenge rating of 6. When designing this stat block, I wanted the Huntress to mainly rely on her ranged attacks to be complemented by her perk abilities. So with that in mind, let's move on to those actions and abilities with some gameplay. So for the Huntress's first ability, she has Beast of Prey. After landing a successful attack on a creature, the Huntress knows the creature's location for the next 60 seconds, regardless of whether she can see them. This includes if the creature decides to take the hide action, she will still know where the creature's location is, as long as she has hit them. For the next perk ability, this is a familiar mechanic from previous videos, the Hex Mechanic, and in this case it is Hex Huntress's Lullaby. At the start of the encounter, a small totem of bones is placed at a location within 60 feet of the Huntress at a location of the DM's choosing. This hex is placed on that totem and remains as long as the totem is not destroyed. The creature can use an action to destroy the totem. A DC 14 Wisdom Perception check within 30 feet of the totem is required to see it. While this hex is active, each time the Huntress is hit with an attack, she gains 1 stack, and in each stack gives her an additional +1 bonus to her armor class. This effect stacks up to 5 times. So at maximum, she could have a 18 AC if the totem remains standing for 5 hits. And if the totem is destroyed, that extra AC bonus is lost, and she will go back to her base 13 armor class. For her final perk, she has Territorial Imperative. The Huntress ignores up to 3/4 cover when making ranged attacks against targets within a 30-foot radius of her. This is designed for her proficiency in hatchet use, which, speaking of, we can talk about her actions now, and the first one being her Huntress Hatchets, which is a ranged weapon attack, +7 to hit, range 60 to 120 feet at long range, and one target hit does 18 or 4d6 +4 slashing damage. And her other melee attack action is the Huntress Axe, which is +7 to hit, reach 5 feet, one target, and does 16 or 3d8 +4 slashing damage. These do seem like pretty high damage numbers, but again, it's important to recognize that her playstyle is meant to use her actions mainly, and her perks complement her actions. If the damage is a little bit too high when running this killer in your own game, you could tune down the numbers a little bit if you're fighting a lower level party with less HP, but this is what I felt was appropriate for a killer who is centered entirely around her ranged attacks. And the way that you would want to run this killer would be to make use of the distance that you could keep at the start of your encounters and only attack the party with hatchets from across the map. And when the party gets close, you can use your Territorial Imperative to still maintain the same chance at attacking party members when they get closer. But your goal while running this killer is to maintain your distance and primarily rely on your ranged attacks. That is going to do it for how I would run the Huntress in DND 5e. This was a much more simple stat block than some of the ones we've been publishing recently, but they can't all be as complicated as those ones. So if you guys have any suggestions on how you would change this killer's stat block, leave them down in the comments below. I'm interested to see your guys' opinions on this. Again, there will be a link to my Discord or my Twitter in the description down below as well, where you can go and download a picture of the stat block to take and use in your own games, guys. Have fun with it. That's going to do it for me today. Until next time, guys, have fun, stay safe, and as always, happy gaming.